The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of its host, guests, and callers that are not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to the STARS program, Seniors Taking Active Roles in Society, with your host, Anita Finley. Your comments and questions are welcome during today's broadcast. Call us toll-free at 888-721-0074. That's 888-721-0074. And now, here's your host, Anita Finley.
Well, good morning. I hope that you have enjoyed our show so far. We certainly have enjoyed bringing this to you. And so what I want to do is I want to just explain that we're going to be playing Suzanne Roberts. Oh, I'm sorry. I have a little problem here. I cannot hear what's going on. I'm sorry. I have a little extra time here.
We got Tere Rodriguez on the line. You forgot about her.
No, I didn't forget about Tere. I didn't know she was on from 6 to 6:30, but I am so happy. I've been waiting for Tere Rodriguez. Okay, Tere, how are you?
Good morning. I know you would never forget me.
I wouldn't. No, I was waiting, and somehow I thought it was 6:30, but I am so glad to hear from you. So, is your turkey cooking yet?
Not yet. Too early for me.
Too early. Well, you know, Tere, it's interesting how people are, as the boomers are aging, they are absolutely now discovering that they can't hear so well. And it's interesting to see that these people are figuring out, well, I guess we have to get hearing aids. But, you know, today they're so fortunate because hearing aids don't show the way they used to show, right?
Absolutely. But I think also that everybody, the women that are discovering and everybody that is discovering that they need help with a hearing aid, they're getting also confused of what to do, where to go, where to see. There's so much information out there lately that they know they need to do something. They sometimes don't know what is the next step.
Tere, it's interesting because, of course, Bill, my husband, for those of everyone who listens and knows Bill's my husband. And, of course, we go to Cleartone Hearing Center for his hearing aids. And I'm always picking on him because I always say, did you forget your hearing aids? And he said, no, why? I said, I can't see them. And there they are. There's that tiny little clear plastic that goes from the inside of the ear to the back. It's amazing. You cannot tell.
Absolutely. And you know what is funny? That most of the people, they say, I want a hearing aid, but I don't want to show. I don't want to see it. You know, I want people to know. And yes, we do have those hearing aids, which is amazing. And amazing because our computers, really what is inside there, inside those tiny little plastic gadgets, as we just talked, they are actually computer systems, an amazing computer system that regulates the sounds around the person and transmit it inside the ear to make people hear like almost normal. So, yes, it is amazing.
And, Tere, the other thing that I think is great, and I do have to say this, that there are many hearing centers around. There's some big corporations. This is really a very, very unusual center because not only do they take care of hearing aids, but it's run by doctors, and of course it's called Cleartone. But it's the nice part about this is that you can go there with your children. You can go there as a younger person. You can take your elder there, and they do all sorts of things. Dr. Craig Shapiro and Dr. Sina Jarabchi, are the physicians, and I know that when we go to have our ears cleaned, and I always have to use my own experiences that. Dr. Jarabchi saw something in my husband's, I guess it was behind his ear. When he was looking, he said, what's that? And my husband said, what do you mean, what's that? He said, well, there's something there. So he, I don't know, I guess he was worried. Maybe it was cancerous or something. It's like looked like a small little tumor. And he said, well, let's do something about it. And before my husband could even say, well, we'll come back, he said, come on, we'll just take 10 minutes. And he did it. He stitched it up. Perfect. There was no problem. It's gone. I mean, I don't even know exactly what it was. It was not cancerous. But that's the difference of going there to the South Florida Associates PA and Cleartone Hearing. You do everything there.
Exactly, because what happened is that we are an ear, nose, and throat physician practice with a hearing aid, with a hearing aid company. And what they do, and that's one of the things that I want to talk about, is a lot of people, when they go to primary doctors, they check many things. And normally they don't put attention to the actual ears. And it is important to check your ears. So we start by having the patients see the physicians and make sure that they actually, what they need is a hearing aid. Some of them, they just have wax in the ears and it needs to be removed and people can't hear. So we start with that. And as you say, when you have a physician and staff, they see way beyond just the sound that people are missing. If they go and see they go and see the anatomy of the ear, they see if there's any problems, any issues, like the case of Bill, that, Dr. U actually did find a little something, which at the end it was not anything malignant. But at the end of the day, he had his ear and he's not only the inner ear, but the outside of the ear checked. And then from there they go to the audiologist. We do have an audiologist in place. He's a doctor in audiology, which makes it different than a regular person that they just go and learn how to fit people with hearing aids. And they actually work together with the doctors. That's where we see kids, adults, and all ages, because we have practice that they go to see the physician for any ear, nose, and throat problem, and if they need hearing aids, they go to see my other physician, which is Dr. Shonda Bailey, the doctor and audiologist, to take the patients to the right direction of the hearing, to help them with hearing issues.
Don't get me started talking about Dr. Bailey, because we'll take the whole show. She is, I've known a lot of audiologists over the years, but there's something very special about her. She cares so much. She's so thorough. She understands the business. She is a real professional, and she's impressive.
She is wonderful, and she has all the years of experience, plus working experience, plus also she used to work in a hospital in Kansas, a children's hospital. So she has the compassion to deal with children, the compassion to deal with adults, and also the patients. There is in this field, people need to have compassion and patience, and you have somebody with that right combination, it can make wonders. And I have seen that impacted into our practice.
Well, I think what I'd like to do this time is just tell everyone we're listening to Tere Rodriguez, and she is the president of operations at Cleartone Hearing Center for everything. Well, it's actually not only that, and I just had to say both names, South Florida Associates PA. But they're located in Pembroke Pines, very easy to get to. And if you'd like to make an appointment, just get your pencils out. I always tell everyone this is Pencil Talk Radio. And the phone number to call is 954-438-7171. That's 954-438-7171. And it's very easy, as I said, to get to, lots of parking, and you will really be you'll be privileged in a way. I really think it's privileged. You are privileged to go there and be taken care of. And I don't say that casually, because I go to a lot of places, and I'm always there kind of like a peeking around, watching what people do and how they treat people. Well, this is a place where people really treat you beautifully. So not only are you going to have your hearing taken care of, or anything else that you need in this particular field, but you're going to have people who know you and be friendly with you and take care of what you need. That's something that Tere has done. She runs the place, and it's her attitude that, they always say, you look at the leader of a place and then you'll see what the other people are like. You've done a good job, kiddo.
Oh, thank you. Well, I have great people that help me working with me and with the physicians that make our jobs very, very easier sometimes, But most of all, we care. We care of people. We care of everybody, and in some cases, when it comes to the ENT, I had seen our staff and our physicians go way beyond the situation. We used to have a patient many years ago who used to come for everything, for every single thing, nothing to do sometimes with ENT. And the doctor said, well, you need to go to another physician for, it's not even related to my field. No, but I want you to tell me. I want you to tell me. And here it is. The doctor will tell the time, and talk to them. And it's been interesting. Sometimes our office is pretty interesting to see people coming from all directions, and we try to help everybody and guide them to the best way, especially nowadays with so many changes that are happening in our industry, not only hearing industry, but also within the medical industry.
Well, I'm happy on one point that there may be people now who couldn't afford to come and get their hearing taken care of, or other kinds of sinus conditions or other allergy testing, that they may be able to come now.
Exactly. We help everybody. We will work with everybody when it comes to budgets, and we understand that people have nowadays so many other expenses, and at the same time their insurances issues and coverage. But we always try to help people and figure out ways that they can afford what they need.
I'm sure that's really true, knowing you, and no one's going to turn someone away. But I wanted to go into something else. I've heard recently people, and these are baby boomers, that somehow they're having a balance problem and they feel dizzy. And, of course, they go to their primary care physician and they go through whatever tests they would give. But it's interesting to note that your organization can really do that testing also.
Okay, it's actually not only baby boomers. Nowadays, especially in the last few months, we have seen a large amount of people with dizziness, and even teenagers with dizziness. Dr. Jurachi actually tried to find out and doing some research into, the people that are coming into our practice, why they're such a younger age with dizziness. But the fact is that it could be many, many reasons, and it is sad because sometimes the dizziness takes over the people's life. We have seen people that are in bed for days and months because of the dizziness. So we do have a test there to have a person who will do a test there for the dizziness and vertigo, and what to find out what are the causes or what causes can make the people dizzy. And at the same time, we also have Dr. Jurachi does the maneuvers to help people to get rid of that dizziness. And when we're talking about maneuvers is that sometimes the dizziness is caused of the crystals inside the inner ear. Inside the inner ear, we have some rocks or crystals, and that was keeps us balanced. And what happens sometimes with age, that those crystals get out of the inside the inner ear and move around your ear. And when that happens, the people start getting severe vertigo. When they go to our office, Dr. Jurachi knows how to do what we call maneuvers, which is moving the patient in certain positions to make the crystal go back inside into the right place. And that's what things we do with the patients, yes.
Well, we ought to have an article on that. We ought to have an article on that.
Okay,
I think even if it's short, whatever it is, I barely remember having that told to me. Maybe you did years ago, but that's very important, because that means it's not an operation. It's not a big deal. It just, oh my goodness. And then because we know, especially for an older adult, it is very dangerous if someone falls. We know about, their breaking hips, breaking arms and things, and it's terrible. So that's pretty important. Dizziness and balance, huh?
And not only that, in the case of my mother, the story of Mom, and she started suffering with dizziness, and I took her to the office. Whatever place I took her to the office, and Dr. Jurachi actually performed the movement and the maneuvers to her, and it was in matters of a minute. She was fine. And we also instructed her with some, we give the patients instructions about some exercises for them to do at home in case they have this vertigo.
Wow, that's that's very exciting to hear that. And you said that in children, it happens to children also.
No, not children, but and sometimes young adults and teenagers.
Well,
yeah, that's happening. Next time we'll have Dr. Jurafsky on the line. We'll have him speak more about that.
Yeah, I think that's
very interesting.
It sounds that way very much. Now, I'd also like to talk about what happens when people have allergies. And, you know, we've gone through this before, and there are sinus conditions. And why don't you share some of that? Because that's a wonderful procedure that Dr. Jurafsky's become a real expert at.
Well, what we do is we have a procedure. It's not that new, but what is new is that it can be now done in the house, in the office setting, which is called the balloon sinuplasty. Many years ago, people would have sinus surgery because they constantly were having sinus infections. So what happened is that inside the sinus it gets accumulated mucus, and that puts pressure in people's front head. So it's like they have sinus pressure. So what they used to do is that they used to go in through the nose and cut the bone, and when they cut the bone, then the mucosity could come out. What Dr. Jurafsky and Dr. Shapiro do now is that there's this liquid balloon, which is a little tiny, looks like a thin, very thin straw, but it goes inside the nose, and the tip of that it has a little balloon that is deflated. Once it goes into the right position, they open up, and what it does is that cracks the bone. So when that bone is cracked, it gets a different shape. It opens up the nostrils or the sinuses, and all the stuff can come out easier. It's a better procedure because it is less traumatic, that less trauma that when you remove the bone. And that is done in the office, and patients are very good within, they actually relieve immediately, and then within a matter of a week, they are fine, and they're very happy about it.
I remember when Dr. Jurafsky was on our Cure Symposium program in television, and he brought all the apparatus, and he talked about it, and it's a serious situation, and yet he makes it very casual because he's become such an expert at this. And you imagine someone who's suffering, and all of a sudden they don't have this anymore, just like that?
Not only that, it is better because it can be done in an office setting. You don't have to go through a hospital or be sedated like it used to be before, which actually you got under anesthesia. You have to go to the hospital, have all these hospitals. Everybody who has been or knows somebody who's been in the hospital, it's a long procedure. It's a full day. This takes about 45 minutes to an hour in the office setting, and you're awake. It's a local anesthesia. So you are in and out of the office with no problem. So that's normally is a lot better than being a whole entire half of the day in the hospital. So, and it's less invasive just for yourself. I mean, the whole stress of going through the hospital or going to an office, it makes a lot of difference for the patient. And the results are fantastic.
Right. And what we want you to do, though, is always bring someone with you so that they can drive you home. And that's another good thing when you're going for hearing tests. If you bring someone who's with you all the time, your husband, your wife, your friend, it makes for a better test because they can even share some of the problems that you're having because they're right there. So it's very important to bring someone when you go for the hearing test. Don't you agree, Tere?
Yes, I think it's very important to bring somebody, not only when do hearing tests, because when they do hearing tests, because there's things that the person who has hard of hearing sees in common that the person who lives with them doesn't. For example, there's patients that I say
Seems like we may have lost Tere. She is, I think, on a cell phone. So we'll try to get her back. and then I'll just keep continuing on this. But something I should tell you about Clear Tone Hearing Center, they have a list of things they do. It's the adult and pediatric ear, nose, throat care, and that's very important. When you go to a hearing center, most of them are just hearing centers. They don't do anything else, and you probably shouldn't allow them to do anything else. But we have Tere back. Hello, Tere.
Hello. I can hear you. Just you know how the phones are.
I know that. I figured you went out to check on your turkey or something. Okay. No. So go ahead. So we were talking about that.
No, what I was saying, it is important because sometimes I have patients that say that they can hear it all, and they're there because their wife, they know they can hear, they're missing some sound, but they don't think it's as bad as the wife or the significant other said. And then when we start asking the significant other, they both realize together that really they're missing a lot of words.
I know. So true. Bill is
But you know what, Anita? I wanted to mention something. One of the things that I have noticed within our practice, either the ear, nose, and throat practice, as well as the hearing, I think there's many situations that people need to bring somebody. There are situations that we have seen that patients come to our practice and they come, let's say, for vertigo, and they come by themselves, and suddenly they have those vertigo issues. We're trying to help them out. And we have to wait, and we need to pretty much some of the time, trace around town their family members to come and get them. There's patients out there that come for diagnosis or for procedures, and we always insist, people need to go with somebody. I think it is important, especially because sometimes when the doctors are speaking, we forget things when it comes to procedures and situations, and somebody else will help you to guide you when you forget things.
Absolutely. I definitely feel that. And it's for safety, too. Sometimes you have a procedure and maybe, you think you're fine, you get in your car and isn't, but it's always good. I believe in advocates. You have been the best advocate for your mother for everything, and I was for my mother when she was living, and that's what we need. We wouldn't think of sending our children out somewhere without it. And I know if you've ever been sick, you want someone there to hear, to know in case something happens. So I totally agree with you, but that's really good. Moving.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, I want you to keep talking about that because I think people should bring someone with them.
Well, I'm saying this because I have seen it, especially in the last few days, and for the women that are hearing us, that have parents in other states even, or they don't live with them and depend on somebody taking them, especially when it comes, there's a fantastic set of nurses and health assistants that people hire to take their parents to places. It is very important to be in top of them and teach them that they need to get in there and find that information and listen, because that's the other set of ears for the members and even for the patient. And nowadays I have seen many people who come by themselves and then they forget or they get all confused because there's so much information when you go to a doctor's office to give to the patients. And even if we give it in writing, it is important that you take somebody. And you are fantastic. You and Bill, they're always together, especially when it comes to things like that, to appointments. But when it comes, what I have seen many, and it's very scary and extremely scary when they are out there and they need, somebody's support system.
It's funny you should mention that. When we all have our pets, and some people take better care of their pets and do more than they do with their spouse or their mother or father. It's I hate that. I love pets,
yeah.
But someone said to me the other day that something was wrong with something. They were going to go have a procedure, and they were waiting and waiting. I said, listen, if it were your dog, would you be waiting? No, well, go take care of it.
Exactly.
No,
that's what I wanted to use this platform to actually make a voice on that. As I say, it's very, very something that we need to put attention on.
Yep, you're really good. So let me give everyone this phone number again. Pencil Talk Radio, get your phone, get your pencils out. This is the place you want to go. I don't care where you live. We live in Palm Beach County, and we go down to Pembroke Pines because This is your body. It's not like you're going shopping. You go every day. You get the closest Publix. This is because we want the best experts we can find, and we have found it at Cleartone. And so it's the address actually is 500 North Hiatus Road in Pembroke Pines. Very easy to get to, but their phone number is 954-438-7171. You can call them 9 o'clock Monday morning, set an appointment, and even if you think your hearing is perfect, great, but just get them to check it. And if you find that there is a problem, take care of it. Don't worry about you're going on these cruises, you're going to visit, you're giving kids money. Give yourself a break. Buy the best kind of a hearing aid you can find. It will change your life. Literally, it will change your life. I can't imagine Bill without his hearing aids, Terry. Just can't.
Yes. I know that I know he had a hard hearing but he has you, and you are you are there for him, and he knew that he needed to do something.
Right. Well, you're wonderful, and I'm glad we got to talk. Have a great Thanksgiving, and we'll talk to you again, and we'll talk to Dr. Jarabci about that.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.